What up? What up? How's it going? We are back with Silver Screen Breakdowns. I'm Alex.
Hey, I'm just Scott.
Yeah. And we got a dope movie to break down. We're breaking down Draft Day 2014 movie with Kevin Costner. And this is in honor of the NFL draft. It's in honor of fantasy football drafts that are getting started right now. And
Dynasty drafts, preferably.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I want to hear from you. This was your first time like really getting into the movie. What were some of your initial thoughts before we start getting into some of these scenes?
So should I wait for my first discrepancy? It's a pretty big one.
No, get it right off the bat. This podcast, there's no spoiler alerts. This movie came out 8 years ago.
Okay, so I always loved Any Given Sunday because it showed like the background of how you heard players partied. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they kind of showed a little bit of the background of like how management and ownership, has to congregate with head coaches on their players and contracts, etc. Right? This one, it's actually NFL got their hands in it. So to the best of their ability, they're emulating everything that goes on, from the phone calls to the relationships between the head coach to the owners to the GM to nostalgia, because his pops passed and he was a legendary coach for the Browns, whatnot. There's all these different things that go on, and I love it because it adds a cool story. Obviously the players are all fictional that they're talking about, but there are some players there's some key factors in this movie that are from real life, like Rich Eisman and a buddy from who does the Monday night halftime for ESPN,
Chris Berman. I mean, man, pretty much
right?
The movie starts. Well, I guess doesn't start with him, but pretty early on in the movie. This draft day is upon us, and 200 and blah 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 players are going to make it into the NFL, and all that.
And then you have Deion Sanders and you have the likes of even Roger Goodell playing himself. And there
who else we got? Bitch ass Chucky. He's on there for a second.
Oh yeah, bitch ass Chucky's on there. Mike Mayock's on there. They're all because back then they used to do the scouting. They were like the QB class, the QB classroom that was Chucky's joint, and then Mike Mayock he was the guy that was the NFL's lead, college scout or whatever. But so now they get to simulating the draft. Like I said, it's a little spoiler. Because it's just the biggest problem I had with the movie is when Roger Goodell steps out there and everybody's cheering, bro.
that shit's fake as fuck.
I was like, why aren't they booing him? Even my girl said. I told my girl, because my girl, she fucks with this shit tough, like us, you know what I mean? So I said, what's wrong with this scene? She was like, what? It's the commissioner. I said, what is wrong with it? She's like, they're not booing him. I'm like, right.
Yeah, that is like the national pastime for the NFL draft is booing Roger Goodell every time he comes across that stage.
You have 32 fan bases that show up to these drafts. And New York, it takes place in New York predominantly during this era, before they started moving it around everywhere, right? It was always in New York. And New York's rough, man. And you have 32 fan bases that show up and they all hate each other. But when it comes time to unite, it's when it's time to boo Goodell.
Oh, yeah. And I can attest, I was there at the NFL draft, and this was a very big venue, and it didn't matter if you were right in front of the stage or if you were way off in the place, getting some beer or some food. You can hear what's going on. And every time they said that Roger Goodell is coming up to the stage, everybody booed him. Didn't matter where you were. It was hilarious.
As a football nerd, this movie would have got 5 stars to me. Because it's also I feel like I'm a GM and I feel like I'm Costner in this motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like the moves that he makes. There's such Bogart moves. Even trading away the pick and then shit. Let's get this thing back. You know what I mean? Like, just dig yourself into this hole deeper. And he just so happened to got himself out the hole and became the hero. I've done this. I mean, that league, and I'm not trying to bring this up just because I'm mean or egotistical, but the league that I beat you in, the Tyrannosaurus Flex, I made so many trades, and it was almost like I was trading away, running away from like pending doom, because like if I didn't make these moves, I don't win. Like, for real.
Lucky bastard.
I mean, you say luck or destiny.
Well, I'm gonna call you a lucky bastard because I went against you. Anybody else can say whatever the hell they want.
I made 7 trades in that motherfucker.
You're definitely trading your ass off. Well, here's some of the cast and crew. We got Kevin Costner, he's the main character. And then you got Jennifer Garner, his love interest, who's
on the low. Kind of on the low.
Yep. I mean, it was on the low until literally the very end, even though Denis Leary, the coach, calls him out, on it. Hey, that's supposed to be a secret or something. Yep.
She's like, excuse me.
Chadwick Boseman. He doesn't have a lot of screen time in this movie, but yeah, he definitely makes an impact though. R.I.P. Chadwick. P. Diddy is in here. He's the agent of the number 1 overall, projected QB. And then we got Terry Crews, who makes a little appearance in there. He's the old school running back, from back in the day, the Browns.
He's like the Jim Brown of the movie.
Well, kind of, because Jim
Brown.
Yeah, because Jim Brown's actually in the movie, like at the end. So I mean, that was pretty.
But you know what I mean, though, right? Like his legacy was like at the position was like equivalent, or like life after Jim Brown. It was him. You know what I mean?
Right. He was probably like somewhere in the 80s, or maybe retiring in the early 90s or something, and then has his kid Arian Foster, who's pretty much projected as the number 1 running back in the draft.
His New York accent killed me.
I wonder where he's from, actually, like, because where'd they say that he played? Oklahoma, I believe. I think
he was in New York though.
Well, he was in New York because he was at the draft.
Okay.
Yeah, so we don't know where he's actually from.
Now that I think about it, the accent was kind of all over the place.
It was whack. I don't even know if I got one of the scenes with him in it just because I thought it was so whack.
Yeah, but, you know what? Because of Arian Foster's porous acting and the fact that they didn't boo Roger Goodell, I'm even going to tell you that this got 2.5 stars. Could have got a 5.
Real close. Let's start it off. We always like to play the trailer so everyone can kind of see what they were promoting when you first saw this, on TV or whatever. So let's get into the trailer first.
Yeah.
All right. So my biggest beef with the trailer is them using real players in the trailer when every single person, that we see in the movie is obviously a fake player, but most of those players are on the Chiefs. But any other player that we actually hear their name, they're fake players, and they're talking about different trades and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know if the trailer really does the justice.
The trailer tells the whole movie.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Like, you don't know the specifics of what is going on necessarily, but
the whole movie.
Yeah, from start to finish.
It's still a good movie, though. I'm looking forward to breaking this thing down.
Oh, yeah. And so where we're going to start, just, at damn near the opening scene here. So it starts off with Seattle knowing that they want to trade away the number 1 pick, but they're not going to do it unless they get someone to overpay. And so he goes to the one person who he thinks is most desperate in the entire NFL, someone whose GM, job is on the hot seat, more or less. And it's crazy because later on you find out he's literally only been in Cleveland for 2 years, and they're already talking about firing him going into year 3.
Well, isn't that not a foreshadow of what the league has morphed into? It's literally not for long when it comes to these coaches and GMs now too. It's not just players.
Yeah. I mean, I felt like the GMs out of everybody had kind of the longest leash though, because they're giving them real money. Like with the GM, I mean, some coaches, you may get a year, and you prove that you really suck, but I don't know. These GMs, they seem to get a little bit of a longer leash.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start it off with this first big scene with the Seattle Seahawks and the Cleveland Browns. So right off the bat, you see negotiations at its finest. Because it even pissed off Kevin Costner. Well, Jesus Christ, act like you called me. Like he wanted him to tell him what he wanted. But really, in these negotiations, you're supposed to try to see if the other person will offer something, first. And I mean, that's a big ask right there. 2 number ones, which it's crazy the way that they word it. Okay. Oh, you're going to get our 3 number ones for the next 3 years. But they're really talking about swapping, number ones, then 1 number 1 the next year, and then a 3rd rounder the year after that. He declined it like a dummy.
Because that deal was only within that 10 seconds.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And you know what I like about that? It's like, I'm a stickler for good acting. And like, there's a lot of bad acting in this movie, right? But like Kevin Costner, he's really good in a lot of moments. Like, for example, right when he said, he goes, he said, what you doing? I'm sitting here eating these pancakes, thinking about moving number 1. He said, really? Like, that was like a genuine, like, oh, for real? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you already had the word or heard the rumors that Seattle was trying to move off the 1, you would be like, okay. You know what I mean? That was the first time he ever done heard about this. He knew this was an exclusive take right here. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, oh, really? You're really willing to trade it? Like, you know what I mean? Then he's like, okay. Then demeanor changes a little bit. Then when he starts talking about the deal, he's like, or when he starts patronizing him about what he needs to do. Oh, you're gonna take a fucking running back with a rap sheet? He's like, what? Like, cause then it's also like, oh, it's that obvious. Like, you know what I mean? Because he's the son of a Browns legend. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And like, that was great right there to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and especially like at this point, I mean, we're talking about this is the beginning of the actual draft day, early morning. I mean, I think it said it was like 10 o'clock on the East Coast. So it's like 7 o'clock, on the West Coast in Seattle. This is a big time move that no one knew that this was going to happen. And now he's getting first crack at it. And he doesn't want to sell the farm right away. But he realizes
farm sucks.
Oh yeah, the farm sucks. You got an injury-riddled QB. Like this was every Bogard move that you could pull out.
Hey, real talk, because like that kid's supposed to be nice too, like, or at least like he's not bad. Brian Drew.
Yeah,
and then he's like, "Oh man, what do you mean the kid that got hurt halfway through the season?" Like, like, recency bias is like key to trades.
Oh yeah, and just fast forwarding, a little bit. It's really funny because Sonny, Kevin Costner, then he goes and links up with the owner of the team. And we saw it a little bit in the trailer where he takes him to a water park just to let him know, you got to make a splash, Sonny. You got to make a big splash. People pay to get wet. All right. And pretty much telling them that he's going to get fired, if he doesn't make a splash.
Hey, you know what's funny too? He probably bought that. He probably bought that water park because that's how these billionaires rock, right? Listen, I bought this water park just to show your ass. You need to make a splash, bro. You know what I mean? And he took heed to the words, though.
Yeah, and I don't.
He didn't tell him yet. He didn't tell him yet that he got the call.
Exactly. That was just kind of under wraps. He's the only one who knew, Kevin Costner, that was even.
But the owner did know, though.
Well, he told him to make a splash. He wanted him to do something. And it was because he says it a little bit later, Kevin Costner, that the first 2 years that he was there, he didn't really get to draft his guys. So this is like,
I want to win with my team.
Yep. Because trading for all these future picks and everything, I mean, he thinks that he's going to be gone anyways. And if I was a GM and I know that my ass is on the line, like right now, why not sell the farm for the future to win like right now? Man,
that's where the Bogard move really comes into play here because, whenever somebody says, say you're trying to move Tom Brady right now in a dynasty, you know what people will say? They'll say, and then, this is probably super flex talk because that's just, we're talking our world. People will be like, man, Tom Brady probably got like a year left. And it's like in fantasy or even in reality football, you're supposed to think win now, no matter what. And he thinks they can win now. He doesn't think they need a rebuild. He just thinks they need to add some key pieces, and they got something here.
Damn right. And so when he's actually talking, at the water park to the owner, he's talking about the QB. He's the owner. He's like, I heard we need a QB, and he was like, we're at 7. There's no way he drops down to us, and there's no other QBs that are gonna make an impact right away. He's like, well, make a splash, Sonny. Make a splash. And then he starts talking shit about Brian Drew. He was like, we got his Brian Drew, the guy with the injury-riddled knees. And Costner was like, you wouldn't even think that unless I told you that last year. So then he had to go back on a comment that he made a year ago.
And you know what's funny about that too? Is like I always wondered how owners get affected. Like Jerry Jones is a funny owner because he's in the mix. Like he'll be like, you know what they say on Twitter? They say we need to trade up for this Bo Callahan. They say they don't like Drew Lock. You know what I mean? I hear the people. Like I wonder if there's the owners like Jerry Jones where they hear the noise, or if there's the other ones that just block out all the noise and just want because this seems like one of those owners that hears the noise. With the injury riddle, like it sounds like he's reading like hit pieces and headlines. You know what I mean? Versus like having an actual football minded opinion. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Definitely. And we see it go back and forth for the GM for Seattle, because that's really the person who they put the emphasis on, not the owner over there, even though you do see the owner.
He's a weasel. He plays a perfect weasel.
Perfect fucking weasel. All right, but before we get into
his ass.
Let's bring in Vontae Mack. He randomly calls Sonny. Like now, Sonny leaves the house.
It ain't random.
Well, it's not random for Vontae. It is random for Sonny though, because he has no fucking idea that Vontae Mack is about to be calling him right now. Right after he got the pick, the number 1 pick, or at least the shot to get the number 1 pick, and also right before Sonny leaves the house, he writes something on like a yellow sticky note and then throws it in his pocket. We have no idea what it is, but they make sure to show that before he leaves the house. Here we go. Here's Vontae. And there we go, right off the bat. So Vontae Mack, he's a real outspoken character. That is one thing that you'll find out. He knows that he's a badass, and he's not keeping a tight lip. That's for sure.
You know what's tight about that scene? Or not about just about the scene, but about the whole movie, is that like when they do reference real name players, they're legends.
Oh, yeah.
I mean? Like, did he just say Reggie White right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And then later on, he references Joe Montana. You know what I mean? And what's funny about it too is like I love how misogynistic the movie is because football's a man's sport, and you can tell like a lot of them think this way, especially in the old era. Because you got to remember now, this movie's like dinosaur era, how things are nowadays in the NFL. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like as far as like being PC and like things that are like just totally different. And so in this case. How many times do they talk about stories in this movie where he really had some balls, or hey, that really took some balls? Like this, it's very respected to have balls. Then at the same time, no one talks to Jennifer Garner with respect except for the man who's tapping her. You know what I mean? Because she's in a world of men. She's in the man's world. You know what I mean? Isn't that kind of crazy? Like, it wasn't that long ago. When is it, 10 years ago?
2014, so 8 years ago.
8 years ago. It was in a ballpark. Such a different time back then.
Yeah, because this was before the big Me Too movement and all that. So
everything.
I feel like if it was a little bit, a couple years after, I think that her character would, just like you said, would have gotten more respect, from people, especially the coach who was Denis Leary he wasn't shitting on her, but he was trying to be condescending as hell every time
he's trying to win. You know what's dope about him is he carries it on his head that he won with a team he inherited. He's
right.
What's Buddy that after Jimmy Johnson?
I can't remember his name.
But you know what I'm talking about though. See, no one remembers his name.
Yeah.
I would say if we were live right now, I'd be like, drop that in the chat. Someone would be Stu will pop out of nowhere right now. Like, hold on. He was a wonderful coach. You know what I mean? Like the motherfucker.
And I think I think that's what they were trying to make the comparison to, because later when he was talking to the owner, he was like, "Oh, lucky us! He inherited a team and then ran it into the ground, and then he was available for us."
Exactly.
But he's big dick swinging the whole time. Like, oh yeah, in Dallas, we win, baby. We win a lot.
Until you run into the ground. He's like, you're a babysitter and you did a poor job.
Oh yeah.
No, but hey, I love Vontae here though, because Vontae, this is what I love about this character. It says everything about him. He got the phone number. He's making the phone call. You know what I mean?
He's not waiting for his agent to make moves. He's making the moves himself.
And even like not being there in the building, that says a lot about his character, right? Because normally motherfuckers, they want to be seen as much. He says, no, I'm about to be here with my grandmas. But you know what? I'm calling you because I got to make this shit happen. You know what I mean? He's one of those rare ones. And you know what's funny? Kevin Costner likes that.
He likes
that. He's like, fuck yeah, dude. That's what I'm talking about. You go for what you want. You know what I mean? And you see it later on too, when he calls him again, hating on, or not even hating on. He was telling him he was wording him up on Bo Callahan.
Yep. He's like, that boy, there's a fraud. And we're going to get into that one.
Okay, we got that one. Okay.
In a little bit too. And then, so right after Vontae, that's when he goes and sees the owner, and he has to make a splash. And so he's driving, driving to headquarters, driving to HQ, to the war room, getting ready to go there. And then he calls the GM for Seattle, and the GM for Seattle, he was like, I don't have that scene. I wasn't able to find a good version of it, but he's in there, he's talking to the owner, and he was like, man, I really thought that, I could get Sonny Weaver Jr. He should be real desperate. His dad just died, a week ago. And like, man, this guy sounds like a total scumbag, and then he gets the phone call and it's Sonny. And he's like, ooh, it like shows the phone to the owner.
Yeah.
He's like, fleece him. He knew that he had him right then. Yeah. And so Kevin Costner is like, all right, I'm ready to do this. 2 number 1s and a number 3. And then, just like you're supposed to do, the guy takes it away. He's like, that was a different world. I was eating you told me to enjoy my pancakes, and you didn't like that offer. So now we got to bump it up. And the most first-round draft picks that you could trade away in the NFL is 3. And that's what he said. We want all 3.
All 3 of them. All 3 of them, like the Italians would say. Hey, give me all 3 of them.
And Costner didn't want to do it, but he ended up pulling the trigger to make the splash to get Bo Callahan.
Yeah. And like he started that was the moment he started like, I'm doing what I'm going to do. You know what I mean? Because he has this whole ass team, and he has everyone's job security in his hands as well as his. But then that was the point. He was like, all right, I'm doing what I'm going to do. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We'll do this trade. You want to challenge my balls? Because remember, when you watch this movie, you keep that in mind. Like, just motherfuckers just trying to, it's all a big dick measuring contest. You know what I'm saying? He's like, oh yeah, deal. You know what I mean? Like, give me the first round.
Yep. And especially like you hear it kind of in the background when he's like driving away. It's like a radio broadcast. You don't really see them, but you hear him talking, and it's pretty much saying, like, it's hilarious. It makes Cleveland sound like such a shitty place to live. It's like, we don't have beaches here. We don't have pretty women, walking around like we're in California. All we have is our sports teams. And Sonny, you better get this right or you're going to be gone, my friend. And so everyone, Sonny goes to the gas station. And when you got dirty ass trucks and shit, sometimes people go and they like ride on the back of it.
Yeah.
It was like screw Sonny or like something like that. Might have said fuck Sonny. I can't remember, but it was something like that. That was written. And he just sees it, walks to his car. It's like, motherfuckers.
Hey, but see, all these things is helping him though. Because he's under this enormous amount of pressure. Immense amount of pressure. There you go. I'm a lyricist. I wanted a better word than that. You know what I'm saying? And then it's from 10 in the morning Cleveland time all the way up into the goddamn draft. You know what I mean? So how many hours is that? They start at 5 all the time, West Coast time. So that would be like 8 o'clock. So from 10 o'clock to 8 o'clock, bro, the whole time.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. And then I got the scene here where he actually walks into the war room. Everyone, they're talking about drafting Arian Foster's character, because they really need a running back, and that's where they're hurting, on offense. They have the 28th offense, in the league the year prior. And Sonny comes in and makes a splash. It looks a lot different than it does in the trailer. So here we go with the scene. Yeah, and so what I like about this is the way that it all unravels, because Sonny knows that he overpaid. That's the only way you're going to get the number one pick is by overpaying. So it's like everyone's happy except the coach. Like, so what'd you give up? First rounder this year. Doesn't say everything. What else you give up? Because you already know you're not just swapping first rounds.
Yeah,
and getting it. Oh, first rounder next year also.
And then one of the Stooges jumps up. Yeah, that's cool because it's for Bo Callahan.
And then the coach like, and what else? He's like, and a first rounder the year after that. And that's when everybody's like, that's our whole future.
We're gonna lose our jobs. We're gonna lose our jobs, god damn it. And then he stunts on him. He flexes on him. He basically says, listen, I get paid more than you, motherfucker. I get 30 M's for this.
Yep.
He's like, you paid me to do this shit, bro. You didn't think you was about to talk to me?
And I mean, that wouldn't happen in real life, though, for sure. I mean, if a coach is locked in there for multiple years, there's no way that a GM would make that move without like at least talking to the coach, even if it's still his call, no matter what.
See, those are the type of things where it's like then that week, I mean, right away you would hear it would be Ian Rappaport or something, right? He'd be like, yeah, and the Browns just traded up, and apparently there's turmoil. Had no discussion with the head coach. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? And, apparently, then you hear Dion, yeah, man, he know his job's on the line. he willing to do that right now.
Especially with all the news that we're seeing and everyone talking about how, he's pretty much on the hot seat with his job. Yeah. This would be something that'd be heavily covered. And right after the scene cut out, that's when the owner calls, and he's all hyped. He's already getting ready to fly, to New York. And it's funny on one of these podcasts or whatever that I watched. He was like, I already got the number one shirt, with Bo Callahan's name on it and all that. And
he got the jersey made. He's like, I'm here with our equipment manager.
Yeah, it's funny because so someone made like a video about this, and it was like the things that were wrong with draft day, and that was one of the things that they had were wrong. They were like, no way that he can get a jersey made, within that amount of time or whatever. And literally now at the NFL draft, I mean, they're screen printing the shirts, or not, just ironing on all the names and the patches, and all that shit. They're doing that right before they take the stage.
Well, here's a quick story. When we lost, when the Warriors lost to the Cavs, right? Like that same week, if I remember correctly, we ended up getting Kevin Durant. So it was like we won the championship already, right? And what was crazy is before they announced it, before like when the whole world found out about it, I heard from my lady. My ladies got the partner, and that motherfucker worked with somebody who works for the Warriors and was like, oh, we just ordered a bunch of Durant jerseys to be made immediately, right?
Damn.
Right. And we're like, what? You know what I mean? And then like 4 or 5 days later, the motherfucker gets announced. So it was like, you know what I mean? Like, that's because they wanted to have it right away. And plus probably took that long to get the contracts all together, you know what I mean? But the agreement was made already. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You want to have those jerseys ready to buy, start making that money right away.
Actually, maybe that wasn't too long after that neither, actually. That was like 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. And then so now what's Sonny got to do? Right. He already said we haven't done our due diligence on Bo Callahan because we didn't think that we were going to get him. So now he's got to start doing some intel. He's got to start figuring some stuff out himself. So he gives P. Diddy a call, who's chilling with Bo Callahan, getting ready for the draft. Here's the first time that Sonny has an interaction with Bo in the movie.
Yeah.
So this really starts it off where Bo just looks like a cookie cutter, and like
that's
Vontae
the right
said,
thing. he's gonna say the right thing. Like even just that whole hey, by the way, condolences. Like if anything, be better at being fake about it. Let that be the first thing you say right when you get on the phone with him. Not like oh that's right. And another thing.
And you know what I always catch is things like when someone says, "Oh, I can't lie," or anything like that, or to be honest, or to tell you the truth, like things like that. Mm-hmm. If someone, just like Bo said, oh, it's an exciting day, I can't lie. If someone says that, that means they're a fucking liar. Maybe not lying about the exact thing that they're talking about.
Or you're from the Bay. Because that's just we always say that after everything, bro. I can't, or even before everything, bro. I can't even lie. You know what I mean?
Well, I bet you a lot of the people who say that lie about a lot of things. Maybe they're not lying about the exact thing that they're talking about.
Bro, I can't even lie. This is some fire. Like, bro, I can't even lie. This is, you know what I mean? Like, that's funny because I talk like that, but I'm not a liar. I'm Fletcher Reed. I'm incapable of lying. I am the cold truth.
Yeah, so Bo just looks like like he wanted to know how important winning was, and he just gives him the cookie cutter answer. Winning is everything, sir. Like he couldn't come up with anything more original. And you see Sonny with that yellow sticky note that he had in his pocket that he wrote earlier. That's like the sticky note is like a character amongst itself, but it makes little cameos like here and there because like that was his initial gut instinct of
that's the only thing he trusts at this point.
Yeah.
He only trusts himself, but he can't even trust himself. He has to write something on this paper, and he trusts that the paper is going to tell him what he needs to know. He doesn't even trust himself right now. But the fact that he wrote whatever it is on that paper that we're going to find out about is that is the ultimate reminder of him, because that's all he trusts right now.
Because he keeps coming back to that, back and back. And so we already know about we already know that they got the number 1 pick. We already know that the owner knows. And then Sonny's mom calls him and starts talking shit. You saw it in the trailer in the beginning. She was like, "You traded a cow for a whole bunch of magic beans." Mm-hmm. And he was like, "How do you know that?" Also, the trailer was wrong. She was like, "Well, I tweeted it." Well, Vontae Mack was the one who actually tweeted it. Mm-hmm. Saying that
Vontae Mack right now is doing his thing. He's moving the chess pieces.
Yeah, and so one little piece that got cut out of the scene earlier was like he was trying to get Sonny to tell him if he was going to the Browns, and he was like, "I seen all the mock drafts. If you don't take me at 7, I drop all the way down to like 15."
Yeah.
So there was
he's telling him how much more money that's gonna be, or how much money it's gonna be less. And this Vontae was playing it right.
Yep. And it's funny because especially like this year, anyone who was watching any mock drafts, throw those shits like out the window. Back then, it was probably a little bit more easier to know who teams were going to go for because teams weren't taking chances like they are now. Like they had to get guys that they needed. They couldn't get really the players that they wanted. Like they are now.
You balled out in college, like you're going to be in the top 5 conversation. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Or top or first round conversation, I was to say.
Yep. All right, so let's get this the next scene where Sonny is calling Vontae right after he finds out that Vontae tweets about the Browns moving up to the number 1 pick and him saying, "Sorry, Browns fans," or "Sorry, Cleveland. They moved up to number 1, so now you're going to get Bo, not Vontae. Sorry to be you." And here we go. There we go. And Vontae letting them know. And one thing that I like about this, when they do the little cut scenes, it's so weird how like if you were watching Vontae, his body is like over Kevin Costner's like little split screen. It's like kind of weird how they keep doing that. I don't know exactly like what the point of that is necessarily, but it looks cool.
That was their cinematic. That was their view. I mean, what's the word I'm looking for? That was their styling. You know what I mean? That was like it's like when I'm writing a song, I'm looking for my rhyme scheme on here. I'm looking for the style of how I'm gonna be on this song. You know what I mean? I'm not like Nas or Snoop, where it's like they're just gonna get on every track and do Nas and Snoop things, right? Like, I'm like Jay or like E40 even, like where you're gonna flip it in different ways accordingly. This is just how this director, or and the editors figured that this is how they envisioned it. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
See, nowadays you have FaceTime. That's more prevalent. I mean, they had FaceTime back then, but it's like, I see that would be more realistic if they were on the FaceTime because people want to see motherfuckers' eyes and be like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Motherfuckers telling you the truth or not. You know what I mean?
But that's how old school Kevin Costner is also. I think that he'd just be the guy to call you, just just a normal voice call versus FaceTime.
It's good. It's a good point.
Now, but there's a whole bunch of falling out, because now there's the fallout with Vontae. Now there's the fallout with Brian Drew. Okay, so Sonny, he's going through, he's walking through the whole HQ, and then he ends up going into the weight room and sees the strength and conditioning coach, and he's hyping up some big ass motherfucker who's deadlifting, some who knows how much, and he's like, "Hey, you hear about your boy Drew?" And he was like, "What?" He was like, "He's not even supposed to be working out." Or he was like, "Oh, you hear what he squatted?" He's like, "He's not supposed to be squatting anything." Squatted 400.
400.
Yeah. And
hey, listen, he's throwing it 15 yards longer down the field, bro. I seen it.
And you know what was funny? He was like, "Have you heard about these secret workouts with," I don't remember the wide receiver's name. And Kevin Costner doesn't know about it, but he still says, "Yeah." Just to make sure that he doesn't seem like a dumbass. He was like, he's saying he's throwing the ball 15 yards farther. He's like, I wouldn't believe him until I saw what he benched. Ask me what he benched. He's like, 250 10 times.
20.
He's like,
I think he said 25 times.
Yeah, he's like, that boy's in the best shape of his life.
Right?
But yeah,
I love that. The best shape of his life, because that's like key.
You know because we already know, like, at least from what we've heard.
No, I'm just saying, you always say that, right? In the NFL, like, like Michael Thomas, you know what I'm saying? If he's not ready for training camp this coming up, right? You know what I'm saying? Once he starts putting out videos of him working out and shit, he's gonna be like, I'm in the best shape of my life. You know
got to. And especially when we're hearing, so the last time we hear about Brian Drew, it's the owner talking shit to Sonny about how they need to move on. And he was like, we finished at 6-10 last year. And Sonny was like, but we were at 5-1 until Brian Drew got hurt.
Exactly.
He's like, well, yeah, the guy's got weak knees.
Ooh, watching football, owner.
Yep. But so that's what we know about Brian Drew. He's 5-1 before he busts his ACL or whatever, something with his knee. I'm assuming it was an ACL.
You know what's crazy? That's the Brian Hoyer story, bro.
Yeah.
When Brian Hoyer went to the Browns, they were like, legit, that after the first 8 he got injured week 8 that year. I want to say they're like 6-2 or even 7-1 if I remember correctly, bro. It was crazy. But Shanahan was there. Yeah. Shanahan, Pat Shermer. You know what I mean? But that's crazy because you know what I'm saying, that was 2013, 2012.
Yeah, it's literally like the exact same time. So I mean, Brian Drew could be Brian Hoyer. Like that could be
for real though.
It sounds like it, right? They kind of stole a little bit of.
I just realized his name was Brian Drew. God damn it!
We figured it out.
Look, hey, listen, that's kind of tight, loosely based. My girl was asking me that too when we were watching it, or when I was watching it. She was like chiming in. She was like, is it based on a true story? I was like, it's based on nonfiction. You know what I mean? That was the best way I could explain it, right?
Right. Because all the characters are fiction, except for the random ones that they show with ESPN, with NFL.
But just simulating the NFL draft and everything what it pertains to is like, it is based on nonfiction. You know what I mean? Like
this is like fantasy NFL, because like shit wasn't happening like this, back then. And definitely no team has ever traded 3 first rounders away and then traded back for them, in the same draft. Like that shit's never happened ever. This is all fantasy, but we love it because it's fun. It's more fun this way. And now Brian Drew is extra pissed. And all we hear, so Sonny goes into his office and his entire office is trashed. And you hear that it was Brian Drew just extra pissed after this. And we got the scene here. So it's funny because Brian Hoyer.
Real quick. Okay, like this joint's about to hit. I'm like, it's going to hit in like 5-6 minutes. It's going to open these free agent stuff. I just want to make sure I grab some guys. But also that'll give you, because you'll be able to pick it up and then cut off that end part of that where it popped in the YouTube fucking shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, but I just want to, you know what I mean? I was just about to text you, but then the clip ended.
You're good. You're good. And then so you hear it right there. Sonny is the one who was all in on Brian Drew. He was like, "Oh, he was like, I'm the one who drafted you." And he was like, "Bullshit, your dad drafted me." He was like, "No, I was in San Francisco, but he wasn't even looking at you until I told him to."
Right. You know what I'm saying? Put him in his place. Like, listen, I'm like, his dad was so old school, he wouldn't have never took him, but he trusted his son, right? You know what I mean?
Yep. Hell yeah. And then he was like, "Even when your knee crapped out, nobody wanted you. Who extended you? I extended you."
And I give
So
you a raise.
Yep. So he was always believing in him. And that's why I wanted to play this scene, because just hearing his real thoughts, Kevin Costner's real thoughts on Brian Drew, we needed to know about that, because.
And you know why he tore his shit up, right? Because he's like, "Did you tear my office up?" "Yeah, trade me." Like, "Oh, I'm a problem. Now move me."
Yep.
You know what I mean? You know, and it's like he's just staying calm because he knows it's like, we're not gonna let this get out. You know what I mean? Because
Yep.
he's still trying to babysit the situation because he still might be his man's. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. So Brian Drew. Okay. So I had to put this scene in there so we could kind of set up. I mean, at least the way that Kevin Costner, Sonny feels about Brian Drew. And it's funny, we talked about him being Brian Hoyer, a little bit earlier. Brian Hoyer's on the Patriots. They do go to the Super Bowl. I mean, not the Super Bowl, but been to the playoffs. So that could be Brian Hoyer. I've been to the playoffs. Damn it, I know this playbook inside and out. Like, that could totally be Brian Hoyer.
Motherfucker. I love it. It's Brian Hoyer.
Oh yeah, definitely. If not, our version's definitely better.
Yes. We're gonna direct part 2.
Oh yeah. And so Sonny, he hates everything that's going on. Everyone is just giving him shit. And we got another little cameo.
Oh my God. I just got hit with a mushroom epiphany. It was, who was Bo Callahan?
Uh-huh.
Johnny fucking Manziel.
Oh.
Money Manziel, bro.
Oh shit, what year was he drafted? He was drafted in 2014.
Oh, was it 13 or 14?
No, it was 14. Oh man. All right, so Brian Drew is Brian Hoyer and Bo Callahan is Johnny Manziel.
You don't want that motherfucker, I'm telling you, bro.
Oh man, see, and there was so many people who knew that Johnny Manziel was fake. Oh man, that shit is funny. That shit is real funny. Oh, yeah. And our version's definitely better. Oh yeah.
I'm about to eat another mushroom because of that.
There we go. Mushrooms give me money. All right. So we get another cameo from the yellow sticky note that Sonny was that Sonny'd been carrying around and looking at randomly. This time it was in his office when Brian Drew trashed it, and it was Jennifer Garner who picks it up. I don't know if she looked at it necessarily. They don't show that. They just show her picking it up and finding it. And then obviously she gives it back to him a little bit later. Now, one thing that Sonny does throughout this entire movie is a whole bunch of investigating. Now, I got a scene here. I don't know the character's name, but he's like, it just seems like he's some kind of private investigator, like for the Browns, because he's someone who's there to dive deep, on stories, trying to find things on guys. And so here's a real good scene that during this whole investigation of Brian Drew, or of Bo Callahan, one of their guys, he finds something on him. Here we go. These little nuances. If
none of like that motherfucker.
If 80 guys are on a college football team, there's not one guy who comes to your team, who comes to your party. You're a fucking dirtbag. That means everybody fucking hates you on the team.
Hey, listen, bro. He probably sent the invite too, and the invite was probably like hella pretentious as fuck. It was probably like, come to your favorite QB's party, because if you're not there, you aren't my minion or something. It was like, man, fuck this motherfucker.
Yeah, so that's really all we're getting from Bo. Like he looks like a liar. He looks like someone who's trying to always say the right thing. And now we know that none of his teammates really like him. And Sonny, doing his due diligence, he calls up the coach for Wisconsin and he's asking him, about it. And the guy's talking shit back to Sonny. He was like, "Really? You trying to tear this kid down or what?" He was like, "Maybe it was just the cops not wanting to put any of the get any of the players, in trouble for being there." But the thing is, everybody who was there, it's not like, there was one person who stole money, from that manager or whatever that they said. Everybody else was just there for the party. So, like, I don't know why having their names down on this list would get them into trouble as like a suspect of someone who actually like stole the money or whatever.
It was the universe. The universe was telling them he's Johnny Manziel. You never doing coke in the back room.
So now Sonny's really wants to dive a little bit deeper. And so now they go back and they have a film session. Vontae Mack already told them, go watch the game. He was like, I sacked him 4 times out of his 11 sacks in the entire season. Go watch me sack him and then go watch what he does. And that's what we're going to watch right now. Anyone in the 420 crew, it's time to spark it up. Man, you see all their bullshit reactions. Ah, man, you can't big league it like that. Like, show it off, man.
Then he puts them in their place, hits them right in the heart that they don't even have. He's like, listen, he gave it to his sister. She died 6 months later. And you could obviously, like, it's open to interpretation. Like, did she have, terminal illness, or did she die in some freak accident or whatever it is? It's just the fact that he was, in my mind, that's what I thought. It's like, man, maybe she was like dying of some terminal illness, and like he was like, listen, I'm gonna make this play for you. I'm gonna make a play for you. You know what I mean?
That's what we think. That's the way that I interpret it.
Right? You know why? Because we have hearts. And then the motherfucker goes, boo, motherfucking who?
Our offense still sucks. But yeah, Vontae, he's just a beast, bull rushing peeps out there. There's a reason why he was going to be drafted in the top 10 as a linebacker, because that doesn't happen too often. You got to be a beast.
I love that how the motherfucker, you could tell that motherfucker didn't even pay attention to detail. He's like, yeah, well, even when he throws a 4 touchdown to win it, you know what I mean? He's like, pull that play up. And he's like, what's missing here? That motherfucker ain't even on the field, bro.
Yeah, Vontae wasn't even on the field for the whole 4th quarter. And so, and you hear him, this goes like all the way back, because obviously there's a flashback. They're watching film from, months before, all the way back at the beginning of the movie when he calls up Sonny Liston Jr., and he's got his nephews in the back. He was like, I got a gaggle of nephews that got to get fed, like those were his sister's kids. Now I'm assuming that he's, if not the guardian, right. He's not. I'm sure he's not the guardian. I bet that's still the Grams who's the guardian.
Well, he said Sonny Liston Jr. and I was like, oh shit, he called the boxer.
No. What? Sonny Weaver Jr. There we go. That was his last name. Sonny Weaver Jr. There we go.
Don't cut that out. That's funny.
Man, a lot of smoking today. That's for sure.
I know. If anybody knows, Hustler went on like he went on the world tour of weed and stayed in one spot.
Yeah.
Not even the world tour. You did like a coast, because like you only did like 10 samples. You have like hella nations in that bag.
Oh yeah.
You could literally
14. We made it up to 14 in those 2 hours.
Right.
But so
11 was the one.
Yep. Vontae. He's those aren't his kids, but now I'm sure, just like a lot of people in that predicament, he's got to take care of his family, and so that's what this is all about. And the film just shows a little bit more to Sonny.
He even emphasized, that's $7 million more, bro.
Yep.
Like he was already doing the math. Like, I need to get this.
And Sonny's all about character, is what it is. And he knows Bo Callahan's character seems fake as fuck. And
I like that Diddy being the fucking agent already shows like he's this, you know what I mean? It's like in the Rocky that I don't like.
Yeah.
With Tommy Guns, you know what I mean? He was running with that. What was the Don King ripoff?
What was it? The Duke.
The Duke. Instead of the Don, it was the Duke.
And seeing that's how it is, though. You know, I mean, these guys, I mean, I'm not saying they're treating the guys like puppets, but for lack of a better word, I mean, they're the puppet, you know, who's doing something to get paid so the agent can add, you know, something else to his, you know, to his resume, get another 10% of some fat ass contract.
There's a lot of fakeness in every industry. And but you know what I'm saying? You always find, and see, that's what's crazy too, is that he represents like heart in the industry, right? In any industry. This is how I view it. And like what happens is a lot of times the heart loses, bro. The cutthroats win. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know what I mean? But I like it. I like it because this is that Hollywood shit. You know what I mean? This is like the good old feel good story. Because it made me feel good when he's like, yeah, it's because he's a good kid. You know what I mean? He want to help this kid too, and the kid can help the team. It's all about everybody winning.
Yeah,
that's really what a general manager should be about in a nutshell, right?
Yep, and everything's coming back to character. Him and Jennifer Garner, they even talk about it. You know, like everyone said that Peyton Manning's arm strength was going to be too weak. Everyone said that, you know, that John Elway threw it too hard, and you know, and Jennifer Gardner's like, everyone was saying that Ryan Leaf.
He's an annoying savant, but she's a female, so it's like it's awesome. You know what I mean?
She brings up Ryan Leaf, and she was like, everybody said that Ryan Leaf was a winner. He won at every level, blah, 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 and drafted number 2 overall. And she was like, nobody said the same thing about Tom Brady, who was drafted in the 6th round. And so just talking about how you never really know. Nothing is guaranteed. And so Sonny is digging deeper and deeper. And that guy who brought in the story about Bo's birthday party, he brings up another
fact. Hold on. I want to bring up something, though. The fact you say he keeps digging deeper, the fact that the one that he's digging in physically, right, is the only one that he'll really hear out.
Yep.
He's doing his own little research. You know what I'm saying? Even we forgot to shit on dude too that gave him the info, right? When he's like, listen, you know what I mean? I know there's a but because you're fucking unoriginal. You know what I mean? Like, I fucking love that. He's like, cut the crap, bruh. You know what I mean? Give me the goods.
Yep.
You know, like the guy who you want the good news first or the bad news. Man, shut the fuck up with your cliches. Give me the skimmy.
Get rid of the fluff.
So with her, he could be vulnerable with what he's really thinking. You know what I mean? Yep. And she says things. It's like the universe is speaking through her because he really only trusts himself, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the fact that she's giving him confirmation, it's confirmation a bias. Right? He already feels this way. I don't want this kid, Bo Callahan. And what she's saying to him is like the universe speaking to him. Like he's like, you're fucking goddamn right. Ryan Leaf was a shitty motherfucker. Isn't it right? I love it. All right, let's go.
Here we go. All right. So this is a scene. It's that PI guy looking in. It's a scene about a team sending a playbook to players, including Bo. Here we go.
I love that.
Dun dun dun.
You know, because here's the thing. Johnny Manziel would have knew about any type of bill that he could roll up and do some cocaine. You know what I'm saying? and here's fucking the mind you, this is my version of it, right? Here's the fucking the movie Johnny Manziel version. Like, yeah, nah. Good one, guys. Get the fuck out of here. You would have loved that money too. You fucking sniveling little bitch. Bo Callahan.
Man, and so you just see it. Bo's a liar through and through. And just like I said, someone who's going to say some shit, oh, I can't lie, you know, like always a lying motherfucker, you know, behind that. And so just more character pieces.
Bro, I can't lie. I hate those motherfuckers. See what I did there?
Yep.
I can't lie. I'm like too obvious.
Hold on. Where is it?
I'll be here all night.
Fucking Bo Callahan, Johnny Manziel, lying motherfucker. And that's what's I mean, I wonder how much of this, you know, really comes through in real life, you know, the character side of things, because we know that they ask, you know, a bunch of a bunch of questions, when they're interviewing guys and things like that. And one thing that I heard, it was pretty fucked up, how like Thibodeau and Aiden Hutchinson, right? They're like the projected top 3 picks, in there. Both play the same position. One is white, one is black. And they're asking like Thibodeau, they're asking him questions like all about his dad and shit. Like, was he around? And like, oh, did he do drugs? And like a whole bunch of random shit like that. Aiden Hutchinson didn't get one question like that asked towards him. I wonder why.
I never knew there was a dream job I would want. But if that would be the new Bogard Luigi dream job, is I'm the guy they send in to ask the questions to the white guy. Like, all right, so we're done with this portion of the interview, and enter Bogard. All right, listen, you're a white motherfucker, aren't you? No? Okay, good answer. All right, so was your daddy around? Your mommy around? Were you on prescription pills? You were writing your own script. You're figuring out a way to get scripts, weren't you? I'd be on them.
Hey, we got to, man. We got to make it fair, right? Everyone wants to have everything fair. So some of these guys got to get some fucked up questions asked to them. Put them on the spot. Make them feel real uncomfortable. See what it feels like.
Right.
So now,
that last clip was funny as the motherfucker, though. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh yeah, and who is it? He's got the 2 stories. Sonny doesn't like hearing from this guy because he's always got some shit. And he was like, they said it was the second, craziest story they've ever heard. You want to know what the first is? He's like, no, god damn it. And he was like,
he's getting the confirmation bias.
Yeah,
it's everything. He already didn't want to fuck with the kid when the owner was like. Because remember, they make the trade. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going for this kid, right? But then here's the owner. He goes, I heard about the trade. How'd you hear about it? God damn it, I'm an Illuminati, right? And then he said, we're going to get that kid. Woo! Dog it. They didn't get him, right? Yep. I mean, in his mind, he's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, he's still trying to go through the process of who to actually pick. And he's got the little yellow sticky note that keeps making cameos, and that's like the only thought that he has, going through his mind. And now Sonny needs more confirmation and needs to talk to Bo again, because now at the end of the $100 bill scene, he was like, okay, the second craziest story, a kid mailed them the $100 bill and said, save this for when I win you the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Like, you want to know who? You want to know who it was? No, I don't. He did not want to know. And who is it? It's Brian Drew. So now Sonny has to do more due diligence. He has to call Bo again because he's still not sold on it. Now we just got another story, that sells him a little bit more on Brian Drew, than Bo. So here's their draft day is about to start now. It is almost 5:00 in New York to where the draft is about to kick off. And Sonny has to call Bo. Here's that call. That interaction just shows how much of a lying motherfucker Bo is.
Right, he lied to his agent right there. He's like, listen, bro, ain't nobody like me. He's a piece of shit.
Yep. And I think that was the confirmation that Sonny needed. Right there, we're going to get into, we got the scene for the very first pick and how all that breaks down. So we'll actually just give our thoughts to that after this. Let's watch the scene of the very first pick. Okay, and we don't see it. It gets cut off a little bit before the end of the scene, but that yellow sticky note, it actually makes its way all the way back, and he throws it. Kevin Costner throws it on the table, and then Denis Leary picks it up, and it says Vontae Mack no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
I love Vontae's reaction. Man, Chadwick
Boseman. I was
Boseman,
about to say that. I listen, hold on. The first time I watched it, I was saying I may or not been on some mushrooms and some hemery. So it was like, you know what I mean? It was a little... You know what I'm saying? Like, I more so laughed at the motherfucker. You know what I mean? I laughed so hard even. But when I watch it again, today. You know what I mean? And it was so fucking touching. You know what I mean? Because that's probably what these motherfuckers really, you know what I mean? I mean, not probably, it is. When the motherfucker, they be crying on the motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And we got their reactions of Vontae and Bo that we're gonna show on here after. But it's crazy.
We got those.
Yeah, I got that one in there because we get to see Chadwick Boseman, go all the way with this. And there's not too many times where RIP. There's not too many times where we don't know who's gonna be the first pick. We always seem to know whether it's the night before, whether it's a couple hours before. This year, it was either Walker or Aiden Hutchinson. We knew it was pretty much between those two. Maybe Thibodeau is an outside shot, to go number 1 overall. But it was pretty much between two guys. In this, it's Bo Callahan and nobody else who they're thinking is going number 1 overall.
It's the QB era.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is when, like, you need to get the QB. Like, this was during those times. You know what I mean? Like,
and so here we go. We got the reactions from Vontae and Bo, and I this part always gets me. Here we go. So I love Vontae's reaction because it shows how genuine he is, and I also love Bo's reaction because it shows how much of a bitch he is.
Mm-hmm. He's trying to dip, you little bitch. And then here's Diddy. Basically has to beg him, and then really has to be like, listen, bro, these motherfuckers don't like a bitch.
Better get back. They're looking to see how you panic under pressure. And that
was part of the shocker. That was part of the shit that was Sonny Liston. That's what we're calling him. Sonny Liston saw on the tape. Remember, he panics.
Yep. Saw that multiple times. Got the pressure in his face after getting knocked down a couple times.
And he just gets the jittering.
And it just continued all the way here. And then everybody, like Sonny, he leaves the room, and then they go find him and they're like, hey, you're not going to believe this. No one's taking Bo Callahan because nobody expected to get him outside of the number 1 pick. So
everybody
won with their top pick.
Nobody did their due diligence. See, and that's the thing too, is like Belichick would have been done that. You think about Belichick? And Belichick wouldn't give a fuck if I'm number 32. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing the due diligence on everybody. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, you know why you have to do due diligence? So then you might even be able to put out some fucked up rumors. Oh shit. You know what? They say he's like he's a really good dude, goes to children's hospitals, right? Then they go like, you know what, man? He's a really big fan of Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? And then like it goes around, and they're like, oh, and then he falls to 32 and Belichick drafts him. Evil Empire. It'd be like that sometimes.
Oh, yeah. So the coolest thing about this movie is because, a big portion of this movie comes between picks 1 and pick 7, and if we're talking 10-minute clocks, that's like 60 minutes, before all this happens, literally an hour, before their 7th pick comes on. And so the first 4 picks go by, nobody takes Bo. Number 5, who's on the clock, is Denver, and they know that they're not going to go QB. And Sonny's trying to make some moves for number 6. And so here we go. In Bogart fashion, he's got to try to cock block the number 7 pick, the Seattle Seahawks, who are about to come up on Bo Callahan. So he has to try to fleece him. And man, that would just be crazy.
You know what the truest Bogart statement is? That was a good deal, Jeff.
This is a good deal, Jeff. Take it.
My bad to get you off, right?
No, it totally is, though.
I'm so Bogart. I'm so Kevin Costner in this movie.
And like right after, he's like, someone always ends up looking like a donkey. And like he's waiting to hear something, but he doesn't give him a chance. He's like, you hear me? He's like, oh, yeah, I heard you.
Hey, I love that. That's all a part of it, right?
Yeah. The little psychology of things that he's doing. Like he's definitely a seasoned pro. And the reason why they're doing this is because when they initially traded, they swapped number 1s with Seattle, the 101 to the 107. And now, You know, it's getting to the 105. Denver's not going to pick a QB, and it's Jacksonville or Seattle made the trade with them. They're going to get Bo Callahan, and they got 3 first-round picks, you know, as well. So he's going to look like the GM of the year. But now Sonny just swoops in, grabs that number 6, and then this is probably the best scene in the entire movie. The negotiations again for the Seahawks, because in the beginning, Sonny got fleeced.
Yeah, but you know, he's hitting him with them same isms. This is so Bogart right here.
Here we go. So this is my favorite scene of the whole movie. Here we go. So this scene is so good, I had to cut it into 2 pieces so we could kind of break down each one. It's crazy because nobody knows what Sonny's going to do, but he's had this calculated move ever since he knew that Bo Callahan was going to slip to number 6 and that there was a rookie.
You mean once he knew he was a piece of shit, because he was the only one that did the due diligence, because no one thought that he would fall anywhere past 1.
Nope. Everyone's been hyping up Bo all day, all the way from Chucky on TV saying that he's the unanimous number 1 pick and the best QB, all the way down to, I mean, shit, every fan that we've seen, you know, Cleveland, all their fans are super hyped for him. Like, that was the move that they needed him to do. And
the Johnny Manziel,
he threw him a curve. They weren't paying for Manziel. Oh, no. And so here we go. Kevin Costner's already leading it up, you know, talking down about himself to make the, you know, Seattle GM start puffing out his chest a little bit. Okay, maybe he's down and out. Maybe I can take advantage of him. You know, he's been trying to take advantage of him all day. He has taken advantage of him all day so far, up until this point. All right. And here we go. Second half of the scene. Here's where it gets real good. Man, all right. So we're going to skip a little bit in the scene, but my favorite part is going all the way back. You know, say it with me, pancake eating motherfucker.
You pancake eating motherfucker.
Take it all the way back.
He throws everything. And before he even delivers the "you pancake eating motherfucker" line, he hit him with all the revenge narrative Bogart shit. Listen, motherfucker. What did he say? He's like, you want to be the fucking, I'm giving you the golden ticket. You know what I mean?
Gotta pay for it.
You want to be the motherfucker to save Seattle, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Because Seattle's clearly the worst team. They had the first pick overall to begin with. You know what I mean?
Yep. And he was on them. I've read all the Seahawks fan blogs and everything. They want your head after trading Bo Callahan.
And then he hit some real GM shit. He goes, like, on Bogart shit. He goes, listen, you about to save $7 million, bro.
And you see the actual owner of the owner of it for Chi McBride. Man, he's been in some stuff, you know. And what was it, Boston Public? He was like the principal and shit, and in a whole bunch of movies. But you see him, he perks up right there, like, ooh. He was like, $7 million saves our cap problems.
And that's so great that you pointed it out, because it's like, that's how cheap those motherfuckers are. $7 million. That's a summer ghetto. That's a weekend in Hamptons.
And the funniest part was when he got him to agree to the deal, got him to agree to give him all 3 first back. Then he puts him on hold. What else do we need?
He says, I need all of it. Hey, this is where it bothers me, though. Because then you have whatever fucking analysts, whatever, right? I mean, not analysts. Yeah, you know, what's her name? Help me out here.
The cap.
The
cap, the one who manages,
cap,
right?
Yeah. And she goes straight to the special teams, right? And if you remember the era, right, this is what really got me. Right, it really kills me, because like, wow, because it was Shanahan that was in the building with the Browns at those times. Shanahan and Pat Shurmur with Brian Hoyer the year prior to this. So this is when they're writing the movie. You know what I'm saying? When you're writing the movie, writing the movie, when you're shooting the movie, is that year prior. You know what I mean? This is probably like a 3-month shoot, and it came out the next year. You know what I mean? And like, this is the Shanahan shit. And then the motherfucker, that's what kills me. Because like, what do we need? We need a punt returner. Like, fucking Shanahan.
And of course, David Putney.
That's all you wanted? Like,
David Putney sounds like a goofy white guy. You know, like that. That's what it kind of
he'll
sounds
be a
like.
slot receiver too. Sounds like Dilford and Trent Dilford. Trent, what's his name? You know what I'm talking about, right? The shifty white slot receiver that the Niners had. He's with the Bengals now, or last year. Trent.
What's his last name?
Something.
I don't know why I'm thinking McDuffie, but that's like the rookie.
Yeah, you know what? You'll cut all this out.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Before you go back live, where are we back on? I'm sure really good. I just realized too, like, it's funny because I'll be talking to you like we on, right? And I always be just looking at your side of the screen. But then, like, you know, the way I come out on the screen, I'm looking the other way, right? So I've been trying. Like, and I'm like, what am I, Robbie?
And we're just gonna leave this in. It's even better.
Yes, leave that all in.
But yeah, so I mean, the Kevin Costner was hitting him with everything because he's still pissed about getting fleeced this morning. You know, because he didn't want to give up the 3 firsts, and so
you pancake eating motherfucker.
He
all
gets
in
him
one day.
He gets him to agree to the 3 firsts, but then he wants to do exactly what he did to him earlier when he was like, "Oh, we live in a different world than we lived in 30 minutes ago."
Mm-hmm.
You know, now we live in a different world than we did 30 seconds ago. You gotta pay me more.
Revenge.
Oh yeah. And so the trade goes down. Seattle ends up getting Bo Callahan. Just for, like they said, $7 million cheaper. The Browns, so to get everything that they got, now they have the number 7 pick, and we're going to watch that scene as well. And they gave up the 3 seconds. So that's the one thing that they did give up. So I feel like that's another reason they had to get something else on top of the 3 first. You already gave up your
in true Bogart fashion, he just kept digging himself deeper in that hole. And it was like, we're going to get it all back in one shot.
We love it.
So I love it. I was watching this shit just dying hard today. You know what I mean?
Because this is fantasy football stuff that's happening all the time. You know, like this kind of shit isn't happening in the NFL outside of this year too much.
Is this, before you show this clip, in this offseason, is this not like a foreshadow? Like when you were, I remember we were doing a stream the other day, and you're like, it never, early this morning, you're like, it never really happens like that, where they just move these picks like that. It's like, bro, my Niners traded up 3 firsts, you know what I mean, to get Lance. Like we do this. You know what I mean? Like,
who else? Trubisky, you know, there's another one, another big time trade, you know, that happened.
Imagine that. He's like, listen, bro, I'm about to get Trubisky. No, you're not. Deal. It's like, we were never going to get Trubisky. And my Niners, I tell us, first of all, shout out to Fornicator and all the Bears, Brews, and Bros. I told them we are still suffering the bad karma of that trade. It's the Bogart trade. Bad karma.
Fleeced him.
And that's why I'm really Kevin Costner, because I'm really believing this karma shit was like, listen, we're going to do the right thing here. And we're going to get the bad guys, you know, with their hits of their own medicine. Because I was the bad guy. My Niners are still suffering my trade I made. I pulled the plug in New Orleans. Turned all the lights out. I did it.
So that is one thing that's dope. I mean, because we have seen, I mean, even this year, you know, seeing the 3 firsts for Russell Wilson, you know, pre-draft and all that. Like, this is the craziest year that we've seen in the offseason as far as trades. We've seen more trades in the draft than really anything ever.
9 trades in the first round.
That's a lot. That's a shitload. I love it.
I'm saying this is Bogart's doing.
All right, let's get to the number 7 pick right after Seattle drafted Bo Callahan. Here we go. All right. So the first thing that stands out to me, and I'll let you break some shit down, is the level of actor skill, between Chadwick Boseman and Arian Foster. Obviously, they're nowhere in the same stratosphere as like actor. But you see, I mean, man, they made Arian play like an Uncle Tom motherfucker. Like Boseman, he's a real motherfucker. He goes up hugging the owner.
You went there. Go ahead.
Go up hugging the owner, kissing the owner's ass. Chadwick Boseman goes up to Sonny Weaver Jr., picks his ass up, like real motherfucker.
I love that shit. You know what I love? All right, how about this? When is Kevin Costner's birthday?
Let's see.
No. Not when is it. I know when it is. When do you think it is?
Oh, when do I think it is? Was he a Sag?
No.
Capricorn?
He's a hustler, bruh.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's the 18th, bruh. He's right about the hustler ass shit. He might have had some Bogart isms, right? But the deals that got done was the hustler shit. Where it was like, you let the motherfucker drop down. You knew he was finna drop. I've seen you do this a lot. You know what I mean? And still get your guy. And see, this is what I love about it, though. Because we are like the dynamic duo in fantasy, right? So that, for everyone watching this, you're probably watching this also because you're aware of it because you watch our fantasy content. So, hey, Silver Screen Breakdowns, give me money, right? But if you're watching this, we some trading motherfuckers. But I'm a trading motherfucker. You are just a trading motherfucker. You will like see how to trade, and you know what I'm saying? I could play the long game too. I could do what you do, but you get what I'm saying, right? We have two totally different trade styles. Your motto is if it's a fast trade, it's a bad trade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On the other hand, I'm like trying to get them on this fast ass shit.
You're trying to get the dudes on the fast trade.
Yeah, because I don't want them to figure out what everyone should already know. I'm always speaking in like universal context. Like, oh, you didn't know? Then you're gonna get got. Everyone should know this before they start asking around or searching it on the Googles. You know what I mean? And find out like, oh, this is what Bogart was up to. You know what I mean? We're gonna strike quick and fast. And once Kevin Costner's character figured out that certain ism, because he and you know what I'm saying, the hell of a PI they got. You know what I mean? Hell of a private investigator they got to find that. Like, listen, ain't none of them went to the motherfucking party, bruh. He's
those
like,
little things the whole way.
How's this motherfucker gonna lead my team? You know what I mean? Yep. Then once he knew that, he didn't share it with no one either. You see me recently in fantasy. I got fucked sharing some inside information with somebody. Stole my trade right before my eyes.
And I'm just trying to do it like Mac Dre, because boy, I could talk a cat off the fish wagon, selling Eskimo ice at a high price.
High price, and he said, "Listen, bro, you want him now? Here he is now."
He was on him, man. That was it was awesome. Like that's what we love about these fantasy trades. And then right after, I love this goddamn job. Like so fucking hyped that he got that to go down. Called him a pancake eating motherfucker, served him his pancakes. He did everything, bro.
He cut the promo on him and everything, and he hit him with a taste of his own medicine. He checked all the boxes, bro. It's almost like me and you coached him through this whole shit.
Oh yeah, he was on it. He was on it. This was fucking awesome. And you know what? So if you guys haven't seen,
you want to know what I love real quick before you continue? This is what I really love. He showed more life. And this is why he's such a great actor. Kevin Costner. He showed more life in his reaction to when he said, what was the line? He said, I love, dude. It was saying, what was the line?
I love this goddamn job.
I love this goddamn job. He had more life in that than every time he was talking to Jennifer Garner's character, right? Because, there's something going on with them, obviously, right? But he never, you know what I mean? He's so tapped in, and it's lucky that he's with this broad or fucking with this broad on the low because she as is with the shit too. Because there's no way, or he's just not fucking nobody. Because he is invested fully, just like his Pop L's was. You know what I mean?
Yep. And it's crazy because none of these scenes, like that, they're not going with the storyline of like the love interest of them. Because at the beginning of the movie, you could tell, she doesn't say
he got more arousal out of football than her. I ain't gonna lie. That's where I was getting at. He showed more life in that line when he said, I love this goddamn job than anytime he talked to her talking about fucking her. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, well, I mean, at the beginning of the movie, so she told him that he was going to be a dad. You know, she's pregnant. Mm-hmm. That was what came out in the very beginning of the movie.
He was fucking on the side, but they also had something going on.
Everything that happened in this day is like all he wants to do is focus on the draft. You know, but now Jennifer Gardner saying she's pregnant, you know, that's to start the day. The mom wants to spread the dad's ashes, you know, on the football field. It's like all this.
Hey, that was kind of crooked though, too, when he was like, no, because I understood where he was coming from. My dad would be like, fuck that. We're not spreading Pop's ashes today.
Not
today. I
today.
got a fucking draft. You know what I mean? Like he could picture his dad saying the same thing about his grandpa. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's the motherfucking draft. Hold on. You know what I mean? But that killed him too, though. That killed him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, fuck. Like, you know what? Just stay the course. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of different storylines, you know, little subplots within the movie. I mean, this is
good Hollywood writing.
But yeah, it was a good way that they mixed in the stories, you know, but obviously this was just the most fun part of it. And and if you guys haven't heard any of the previous podcasts, just go to ssbpod.com, go start downloading, and just go check out the other ones. We broke down Jackie Brown and we broke down Pulp Fiction. And Quentin Tarantino, like classic Quentin Tarantino, because I think we got it, you know, I think we got it. But I got one more scene, and I say that we watch it. Why? Because we love watching movies.
Fuck. I knew you were going there, and I was just so late with it.
So here we go. Here's the end of the movie. So Arian Foster just kind of looked like a joke in that little huddle. You know, I mean, Chadwick Boseman's the one in the middle hyping everybody up. You know, Brian Drew tells everyone to get the hands up, and Arian Foster's got that goofy ass like smile like on his face.
Like a bitch, even
just clowning around.
Hey, we're just gonna always go in on him.
Until he comes on the podcast, we're just gonna keep shitting on him. Maybe that'll get his attention.
Because that was actually what we said, though. Too, he's a hell of a guy. When we said we're always gonna shit on him, he comes on the podcast.
Yeah, man. Don't be big time, man. And all right, so the Cleveland Browns draft in 2014. They draft Justin Gilbert at the number 8 overall pick.
Okay.
I don't even know who the fuck that is. He only played for a couple seasons in the NFL. Johnny Manziel, they pick him at the 22. a lot of nothing there.
He fell.
Yep. He just kept falling because nobody wanted him. Everyone else did their due diligence. They realized
he was the guy that would have took that $100 bill and bought chow mein with it. And then probably because now he has no more bills.
Yeah.
If he bought it for me, right? It would have cost $100 for the grandbaby, and then he would have took a page from the playbook, rolled that motherfucker up, and snowed it.
Yep.
Johnny Manziel.
They did hit on their second and third round picks though.
Manziel.
They drafted a guard at 35 who played all the way until 20. Well, so I don't know if he's still in the league or not, but it has him all the way to 2021. Played 112 games, and I don't know if it's all with the Browns.
Shredder? No, not Shredder.
But Joel Batonio.
Ooh, forget about it.
And and then Christian Kirksey. That was who they drafted with their third rounder. So they really hit on the Kirksey pick there. But man, they just cannot draft in the first round to save their life. That if they had a draft,
Kirksey, he's still around, right? He was
on the Texans last year. Yeah. Yep. So he's still playing. I mean, he's up there. You know, he's getting a little long in the tooth, but he's still active. You know, for a third round pick. Yep. And so yeah, you see the. I like how you know when Chadwick gets finally they get to the Cleveland VIP party and all that. All the fans, Super Bowl, man.
That's so funny. I died so hard.
How much do you think the Browns have been yelling Super Bowl, you know, since they drafted Baker and made all the Nick Chubb and all these moves to make it seem like they're going to make a Super Bowl run?
I mean, they got Watson now.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Like, look at that. Like, they keep, this is like
wasn't it 3 first rounders that they traded to get him to?
This is like a foreshadowing. They just kept doing this all the time. Every time, you know what I mean? Like how many from Brian Whedon to Baker Mayfield to now trading for Deshaun Watson?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And this it was three first rounders.
Browns have to make moves, even into the shit when you said earlier, when they're shitting on Cleveland being a place in itself. We don't have beaches. We don't even have like fine bitches you want to fuck.
We just got the Cleveland Browns.
We straight from Cleveland. Shout out to the Bone Thugs. Shout out to the Bone Thugs in Harmony, bro.
Oh man.
Oh, you got a different one. Come on. Don't kill them. Don't kill the Browns. We got Watson. You got Watson everywhere, blood.
I got Watson everywhere. So
everywhere.
We're gonna need Watson to kill it. But the Browns don't have to win the Super Bowl for me to make some money off of Watson, though.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just saying, though. You know what? They should be yelling Super Bowl in that chant.
Yeah,
they should.
Yeah,
because it's not like the Cowboys now. That would just be like, oh, we're going to Super Bowl. Oh, really? Says who?
Yeah, especially them. I mean, you couldn't miss on Vontae Mack. I mean, everyone probably questioned him being number 1 overall. But man, if we're going to be doing you know, one of these like fictional character like IDP drafts and all that, and Vontae Mack's definitely, you know, a top 5 pick in a draft like that. IDP stud.
Hey, fuck, I'm about to be Bogart Callahan. Hey, when these motherfucking fish, aren't we doing one?
Oh yeah,
we are. 14, right?
Yeah, 14. That's the start.
Yeah, there it is. I'm about to be Bogart Callahan. Listen, it's about to be like a real freak job. Bogart Callahan Auto.
There we go.
Right? Just mash it all up with fucking black sheep and everything.
Well, if no one gets them, if you have the pick before me and you pick Bogart Callahan, I'm definitely picking Vontae Mack. And
hold on, Bogart Callahan Auto.
Bogart Callahan Auto.
Yeah, because I'm also fucking what's his name's dad in Black Sheep. That's what I was saying. I'm about to super freak it.
Yeah.
I'm Bogart Callahan Auto.
Yeah.
I'm fucking Tommy Boy's dad even.
Yeah. All right, and we got a request for a movie to break down. It was a couple days ago, and I can't remember his whole screen name, but it was something 49er. I can't remember exactly.
Oh, now I gotta do it.
Yeah. So the movie
it better be good, son.
The movie is Blood In, Blood Out.
Oh yeah, that's a good one, man. Vatos locos forever, eh?
Yeah, this is the best food I ate in 9 years.
Hey, we gotta bring Peacock on there.
Yeah. So we got to talk to him. I know he loves that movie. We got to get him on this joint with us.
That's really good.
Yeah. So we're gonna get up.
They got shafted, right? In the bracketology.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it made it farther than it should have.
Than anyone thought, but still, though, you know what I mean? In a lot of circles, like, I mean, I know you and Peacock especially were like, this one just got to keep going. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you did not vote for that one every time it was versus something. I think me neither, actually. Once it got up there, too.
I mean, because that's a really good movie. You
it
know,
really is.
It sucks that it's all, you know, it's American Me, you know, like not a lot of people know about Stand and Deliver, as far as like Mexican movies that are out there. But that's pretty much like the Mexican culture is like all these prison movies. And so, yeah,
And
that one just goes, it goes real deep. And Cheech and Chong, yeah. But they're more like Mexican Americans.
Mexican, really.
Yeah, but it's like Mexican Americans.
Mexican Americans, they love their nanus and their ninis and their ninus and their ninus nanus. I probably tore that up. But
that's pretty much what it is. And Mexican Americans love education, so they go to night school and they get a B.
Hold on, then he goes. Hold on, that was cool, but I wrote a whole nother version.
A little more rock and roll.
Beaners.
Oh man.
He was
so fucking stupid. He was so serious about it too. And Cheech is like, yeah, all right, man.
He was so sincere. He was like, yo, that was cool. But
listening to Cheech's song made him think of that song.
He was like, that's cool, but in the remix.
Oh man, fucking that's definitely.
Oh my god,
that's definitely one we're gonna do. Oh yeah,
for sure.
Oh yeah, Cheech is a savage with the songs, man. He writes all that funny ass shit.
Fuck yeah,
that's definitely
funny, dog.
That's definitely one we're gonna be doing. We've done, a little bit more serious movies. Yeah, especially next movie. I'd rather start with that than.
And you got the shirt and everything.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
No, that's a good thing. I'm serious. For everyone watching this, the first time I met Hustler in the three-dimensional realm, he was wearing a Cheech and Chong shirt, and we were at Disneyland. And I was the one who got sweated, and they took all my weed entering Disneyland. And I was wearing a shirt that said Daddy. And while everyone in my family had the matching shirts, just signifying specifically who we are in our family's pecking order. I'm Daddy, she is Mommy, this is, you know what I mean, and so forth. And he has a Cheech and Chong shirt, and he getting there with all the isms, and they take all my joints.
And see, it's little signs like that from the universe that lets me know, just go full force with the 420 aspect of all this stuff, because
it really is, right?
The weed be letting you know. The weed.
You know what's so funny though? You know how many times I'll be mad as fuck about whatever it is I'll be mad about, right? You know what I'm saying? I have no problems calling my man Huss on a good Bogart rant. You know what I mean? I done ranted about hella shit. You know what I mean? And like that was one of them, bruh. they just took all my shit. Happiest place on earth. My ass, I've been here a bazillion times. But see, I didn't even know. Here's this in true Bogart fashion. I should have asked, first of all, if they even let smoking period in there, like cigarettes or whatever, even. Because they outlawed everything.
Yep, they stopped all that.
The last time I had been there was like 7 years prior. When I was at that motherfucker, we was getting loaded. You know what I mean? Because they had smoking sections for cigarettes and whatnot. We just getting high there.
We've seen the evolution, because literally every year of Noble's life, we've gone to Disneyland, just for different reasons. Well, I mean, at least have the vape cartridges and things like that. So
that's exactly what I'm saying, getting high.
So we saw the evolution of literally having, like 3 designated areas within Disneyland where you could smoke cigarettes or vape cartridges or whatever. And then it changes to where you could only smoke it in between the parks. So you had to leave Disneyland and be like in the middle of
then they started making it like when you leave, you're done. If you have one of those jumpers, or there's specific jumpers. Like there's a 2-day jumper or a day and a half jumper. Like, once you leave, you're done in there. You can't go back there. You know what I mean? Like, fuck. Like, you start having to weigh these things out, right? Being a parent, like, all right, yeah, we're definitely not going to leave just so I can smoke a joint. So I'm going to bring this cart in this motherfucker. I didn't know this shit, so I couldn't game plan. I came in there with 20 pre-rolls.
and it was the happiest place on earth for the dude who searched you because man, he got
and I got on his helmet too. I said, I listen. He's like, listen, bro, I'm so your friend outside of here. I'm like, no, you're not. I'm like, oh yeah, you're my friend. You're about to get high with me, and I'm not even gonna be there, bro.
If you're saying, and you know what, maybe he was telling you to read between the lines, like give him your phone number so he could give it to you after work or something.
I was too hot. You know what it is too? It's my journey before that. Remember, it was like we're gonna be there. We're gonna leave. I was right across the street, basically, right?
Yep.
But then you were coming from a journey. You know what I'm saying? You were on a mission. So it was like you left at a certain time. Remember, it was like, okay, cool. This shit opens at 10. We'll probably see you at 11. I'm doing like Bogart shit, doing real Filipino shit. I'm like, okay, you're about to be there like at 10. But I'm real with you. I'll be there like at 11, right? But then chickens, like you start hitting me, you're like, it's 10:30. You hit me like 10:30. Yeah, we'll probably be there like at 11:30. Okay, cool. I'm like, yeah, I'll probably be there at 12:30. Right? And then my 12:30, it turns into like 2:00 because if it's really, I think I told you like I'll be there at 1:30. But then by 2:00, we're just getting seen in there because I had to go to this joint, ride the fucking thing, right? The motherfucking the bus thing. Right?
Yep, the shuttle. Yep.
To this motherfucker, yeah, but it's like the big bus joint, though. You know what I mean?
Right.
And what's crazy about it too is like the whole time I'm very aware of what I'm carrying with me, but it's just like it's also like it was crazy because like I have 4 kids with me. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just all the fucking
Here's where you should have had it in, man. I tried to tell you, throw it in the Amira. Had it, man. I had all these packed, just in there. And I mean,
they didn't know what it was.
I got a couple in there now, but I mean, they didn't even look at it.
Either way, bro. There's to get to my point is like there's a whole lot of everything going on in my world. You know what I mean? And this is the first time I like stepped out of bounds, like for real, right? So like even like when we're in the hotel, like we're just cleaning the fuck out of this hotel. You know what I mean?
They probably didn't clean it before we came here.
I swear to God. You know what I mean? It's so crazy. Like, I came the night before.
Oh man, that was a fun day, minus you getting your weed jacked by the security.
Yeah, it was awesome, right? And so so now to bring it all the way back, right? Hell of a movie. Because we got to start rating these motherfuckers too, right? Before we close things out, right?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
So what are we doing? Like let's do it based on weed. Let's do it based on weed. I will give this one. This one's 25% for me.
All right, so we're giving it like a THC count, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what we're thinking. All right, so I'm gonna give it a little bit more than that because I feel like there's parts. I'm gonna say this is a solid 29.5 percent here because
it's good weed.
It's what we really, really want to see, the NFL be. A lot of these trades, a lot of action happening, a lot of moves, people getting who they want to get. And like
on that aspect too, that I'm with you because I'm basing on like the acting. Like it's a lot of it's just like annoyed me.
Well, I mean, I guess I'm more dealing with the storyline, but Kevin Costner's acting was on point with everything.
Of course he was.
Denis Leary was on point. I mean, Jennifer Garner, like you said, she's whatever. Arian Foster, 2 thumbs down for his acting, you fucking bum.
Terry Crews Terry Crews is like, stop trying to be regular. You're so bad at being regular.
Yeah.
He's like, it's so fake. Like,
you should have just got up and did a robot or something when he did it.
Right.
So be like, man, that's a big ass robot, and then he would have got.
Because knowing the Terry Crews we know now too, though. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Scummy.
There was some bad there was some bad acting, but for the most part, I mean, I like the acting that was going on.
I give it 25%. That's good way, bro.
Oh yeah.
For the regulars.
Yeah. This isn't a movie. I mean, this ain't no 36% or nothing like that. I mean, I think if we get over 33%, that's something that we could watch on the regular. You could throw on anytime, any day and sit through the whole movie. I don't think Draft Day is one of those movies for me. It's all about the time and the place. But around the NFL draft, I always watch this movie.
My bad. I'm hell doing like all this shit. Hell, I have to take a piss. Keep that in there. hey, start doing all the plugs. Let me take a piss.
There we go. Yep. So, man, ssbpod.com. If you guys are looking to be a podcast sponsor, so this is a grassroots podcast, and we're looking for sponsors. You want to get shouted out on every single pod that we do. It's in the description of the podcast and the video. Just go check it out. It's the red circle link right at the top. Yeah, and anything $25 or more, you're going to get shouted out on every single podcast as a sponsor of the show because we appreciate all you guys. What else we got going? Make sure you go subscribe on YouTube, Silver Screen Breakdowns. Make sure you go subscribe on Twitter. We're going to get some stuff going on Twitter as well. We'll start getting some segments and things posted there, little clips of this. And what else we got? You got to make sure you tap in on all the fantasy content that we got going on. That was one of the reasons why we did this movie in general, is because of the fantasy football content that we're doing. And so, yeah, you guys got to tap in on that. For me, it's 420 Fantasy Hustler on YouTube and everywhere else at FF Hustler 420 on social media. And then Bogard, the GMM Network, go subscribe there on YouTube. We're simulcasting all the time. He has the Playmakers joint that we're doing every Wednesday evening. And then we got the news show happening every Wednesday. And yeah, make sure you guys tap into those because really, really good content that we're bringing you guys.
Hey, listen, Universe, give me money, God damn it. And more properties and more just logic and understanding.
Hell yeah.
It's shrooming good. And that's what it's about. I mean, not the shrooming part. I mean, like
everything else.
And understanding and motherfucking just the conquest. Whatever your conquest is. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully it's about like betterment of yourself. Whatever it may be. Whoever's listening to this.
And we got to remember the shroom epiphanies for each movie. So the big shroom epiphany for this movie is that Brian Drew is Brian Hoyer and Bo Callahan is Johnny Manziel.
Did you ever view? Don't bullshit me. Did you ever?
I never put the comparison of that together ever, and I've seen this movie a handful of times. So that was definitely.
And how many times have you heard me reference like Shanahan with Brian Hoyer in Cleveland, and then how they were like their record was? I should probably look that up to see if I even remember that correctly. But I always reference that like Shanahan can make do with whoever the fuck, because he was fucking 7-1 with goddamn Hoyer before he tore his ACL. Because I remember watching that shit. Blood.
There you go.
On Thursday night. And I remember too, they were wearing pink. Like they had pink lining on the shit because it was
October.
Yes, it was October, and it was against the EJ Manuel Bills. I just remember everything, bro.
There we go. So yeah, that was the mushroom epiphany of the show, is that Brian Drew was actually Brian Hoyer in real life, and Bo Callahan was Johnny Manziel.
And you know what's crazy? This is how ironic. Oh my God, check this out. When Brian Hoyer's running with the ball, when he gets hit, tears his shit. And Jimmy Garoppolo got fucked up the same way with Shanahan.
Damn it.
So crazy.
On that note, we're out. Next movie, Blood In, Blood Out. Peace out.
Vatos Locos forever, eh?
Yeah.